You're listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. You can follow along in your book. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this.
Is trying to say is that our new brake pads are really cool. You're not even going to believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along the road with your family, and you're driving along, la-li-la, woo, and then all of a sudden there's a truck tire in the middle of the road, and you hit the brakes. Whoa, that was close. Now let's see what happens when you're driving with the other guy's brake pads. You're driving along, and all of a sudden the kids are yelling from the back seat, I gotta go to the bathroom, Daddy. Not now, damn it. Truck tire. I can't stop. Help! There's a cliff. And your family's screaming, oh my God, we're burning alive! No, I can't feel my legs! In comes a meat wagon! Woo, woo, woo. And the medic gets out and says, oh my God. New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies. And to me, it doesn't... Get out.
Richard, I want to start this podcast, but first I just gotta celebrate a little bit because woohoo, they did it. The New York Metropolitans, they won the World Series just like I knew they would.
What?
No, those Mets, they just ripped right through. The Kansas City Royals won 5 games.
What?
Yeah, no, they do. Oh man, it was great. You didn't see it? The Mets,
I didn't see that.
They won the World Series. It was just the best thing I've ever seen. The pitching was great. I'm gonna shoot some fireworks off in here. The pitching was great. Familia came out and just shut everybody down.
I don't think that's how it happened.
Rich, please.
I'll let you marinate in the moment. But...
Wait, give me a second here. If the Raiders won, I'd let you celebrate. I feel like you're really like kind of cramping my style right here. So let me just hang on. So anyway, like I was saying, woohoo! The Mets, they won the World Series. I've been waiting since I was 6 years old for this. It makes up for 2000, makes up for 2006.
I mean, the Earth must have been spinning really fast back to 1986.
Why?
I don't think that's what happened.
What are you talking about?
I don't think they won. I think they lost.
Well, no. Wait, hang on for a second. You're really cramping my style here. What? You don't what?
They didn't win.
Yeah, no, they didn't win in 4 games like I thought they would, but in 5, woohoo! They won, baby. I hope you don't mind if I'm lighting these bottle rockets off here. I'm just really excited that my New York Mets won the World Series.
I don't think they won in 5 either, or 6.
What do you mean?
Or 7.
What are you talking about?
I saw a hillbilly with a beard say that they kicked the Mets' ass, and they won.
How am I talking and blowing this thing at the same time? Wait, so hang on. Jesus.
I think they lost.
Are you telling me the Mets lost the World Series?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure they lost.
Well, what was I watching then?
The 86 World Series, probably. Were they much skinnier and on lots of cocaine?
You know, now that I do think about it, Mookie Wilson was on the... You're telling me that Mookie Wilson wasn't playing on this team?
Nope. No Mookie.
So, whew. Man.
I think they lost. Pretty sure they lost. Actually, I'm 110% sure that they lost.
So who beat them?
The Royals won.
Kansas City?
Yeah.
No, that can't be true. Kansas City isn't even a real place. Back to celebrate. Woo-hoo!
Bo Jackson's team won.
Meet the Mets. Step right up.
World Series winners, baby. World Series winners. Here's my cowbell. Bringing my cowbell now.
I'll let you enjoy the cowbell, but they didn't win.
What?
They didn't win. Not since, they did coke instead of roids. That was the last time they won the series. I think the Royals won.
This really hurts to hear this right now.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to be the bearer of this news, but it was the Royals.
Are you sure you're just not mad at me for something? You're trying to break my heart right now?
No.
So you're telling me that the Mets lost the World Series
To the
Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Whew. This is a hard pill to swallow.
And it was a pretty quick one, too. I think they only won one game out of it.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. I was pretty drunk the whole time. And now that I do remember. Oh, man, the Mets lost.
I think
the World Series.
that was the final game. Was at the party on Halloween. Oh no, there was one other game after that they lost. Right? Yeah.
So does this mean I have to hit the game over sounder now for the Mets?
I think so.
Oh, my beloved New York Mets. I'm sorry, guys, but
They have no tan line on that finger. This vacay.
all right.
Sorry, Mets fans.
Yeah, it was a hard one. That little bit we just did aside, it did suck to see. Well, yeah, okay, let me talk about it. Well, first off, welcome to the Awkward High Five podcast, awkwardhigh5.com, awkwardhigh5podcast@gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, so now we have all the social medias going. Twitter is at awkwardhi5, the number 5. That's at awkwardhi5. So go on there and give us a little follow so you could get updates. We're also on YouTube now, so you could subscribe to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube. You could like us on Facebook. We have the page up on there, and you could follow us on Twitter. And we don't have Instagram because what are we going to put pictures up of? I don't know. It's whatever. It doesn't matter.
Although that one pic that dude put up on our page is pretty damn funny.
That George made of Lou Diamond Phillips in the Science Oven.
At first, I was really confused because I thought that was one of those like Mexican midgets that does karate, and I'm like, why would he put that in the microwave? And then you put LDP.
Yeah, it's him as Richie Valens with the guitar pointing out and the lightning on the side.
After you put the initials, I saw it, but I thought I really.
Yeah, our tagline now is "Set your science ovens to popcorn."
I love it.
So you guys at home, when you're about to cozy up and listen to your buds Devin and Rich on the Awkward High Five podcast, set your science ovens to popcorn. All right, so yeah, let me just say about the Mets. Here's the thing. I've been a Mets fan for a long time, and I'm going to represent the Mets fans here. That this is what I believe. If you're a real Mets fan, if you weren't just one of these people that just hopped on this thing because you're from the New York area or whatever like that,
there's many of those.
If you're a real Mets fan, you can't be disappointed by them losing this World Series.
No way.
All right, here's 2 reasons why. One, nobody, and I mean nobody, not the Cardinals, not the Cubs, not the Pirates, not anybody was beating Kansas City this year. They were just it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know much about baseball, but I saw that.
They made the Mets pitching, which I believe is the best in the major leagues. People don't give them that because they're so new and everything, but within the next few years, people are going to finally be giving them the praise that they deserve. But they just made it look bad. And I mean, some people were off. DeGrom had a couple bad starts, and Familia didn't have his stuff and all that stuff. But I mean, these guys were just hitting anything. They knew that they needed to win the World Series this year because I mean, it's the rarity of going to the World Series 3 times in a row. I don't even know if it's ever even happened. You know what I mean? So they lost. They went to the World Series and lost last year.
Who did the Royals?
The Royals, yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
They're back in it this year. They knew that they needed to win this year.
So who won the World Series last year?
The Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
Beat the Royals, I believe. Right? Cardinals, or was it San Francisco? I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, but yeah, so that's the whole thing. So, if you're a real Mets fan out there, I think you agree with me that you didn't expect this to happen this year. The fact that they fucking even won the pennant is unbelievable. The fact that they swept the Cubs when they were going into the Cubs series, I thought they were done there.
So they swept the Cubs and they swept the Nationals?
No, they didn't play the Nationals. Nationals are in their division. So the Mets won the division. Nationals didn't even make it to the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Then they played the Dodgers, which went all 5, and that was kind of back and forth. And then the Mets ended up squeaking it out for Game 5. And then I expected them to beat the Dodgers, and then I was going to be happy that that's as far as they were going to go because the Cubs were so goddamn good. But the Mets just went in and swept the Cubs, and the reason why is because the Cubs are a bunch of free swinging home run hitters. And I truly believe that if the Mets played the Blue Jays, which they could, if the Blue Jays won against the Royals and the Mets played the Blue Jays, I believe that the Mets would have won the World Series because the Blue Jays are set up like the Cubs. They're power team, free swingers, and the Mets pitching just eats those people up. The Royals, are as close to a National League team that you could get in an American League. You know, they just played 90-foot ball, and you know they outplayed the Mets. What are you going to do? It was their year, so congratulations to the Kansas City. And it was. I'd like to say it was a good series, but it really wasn't on our side of things. But I'm looking forward to next year. It's going to be great. You know, and they'll be back in the next year.
Well, at least your Halloween costume was a smash hit.
My Keith Hernandez.
It was a really good Keith Hernandez. The stash was perfect.
The only thing that bothered me is I kept having to go in the kitchen and put flour on my nose because the Coke effect kept falling off.
I liked it. I think that was a really good costume.
Your Halloween costume was good. What were you? Oh, you and your girlfriend were essays?
Yeah. I forget what's the word for it.
It starts
Vatos.
With Vatos. Yeah. That's cool. You're doing the bolo one thing at the top.
Yeah.
And you showed up in like true Ritchie fashion. Now, I should tell the people at home that you haven't come to a party with our group of friends in a long time. It's been a while.
Yeah.
You're kind of just making your resurgence back into the group. And there's one trait of yours that didn't leave, which I was happy to see, and that is you just shoving food into your face all night.
Yeah, there was some good eats.
You walked in, I think you walked in, said hi to everybody, and went over to the table where the food was, and then continued to just shove food in your face until you left.
That turkey chili and that pumpkin mush was just the most delicious combination.
At the end of the night, Ritchie was, we were all a little tuned up. It was a long night. We're having fun. And you were eyes slammed shut, just grabbing whatever you could to
dunk in the pumpkin.
Dunk in the pumpkin dip. Like, it doesn't matter what it was. It didn't have to be a cookie. It could be whatever was around. And you were just shoveling it into your mouth while your girlfriend was waiting, like, for you outside for like 15 minutes.
She knows I love to eat.
And then you just told me off air that, well, tell the people at home what you did after that. After all night, after a good 4 or 5 hours of shoving food in your face and drinking beer and all that stuff, what did you do after the party?
I went to the McDonald's drive-thru for a Big Mac, some nuggets, some fries, and a shake. And there's still a sweet and sour sauce smashed on my porch over there. So every time I look at it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how did I eat all that shit?
After, I don't get eating McDonald's at all, but especially after eating all of that, eating half of the buffet that was out there.
I don't even know why. I usually do Wendy's because I feel like that's the gourmet of fast food. But I think maybe McDonald's is on my route home, and I just knew it was an easy, fast eats.
If Wendy's is the gourmet of fast food, then what's Five Guys? Is that like the Michelin star, 5-star?
Yeah, I guess, 'cause I usually just when I
you're talking about
food,
the big three, like
McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's,
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Like Burger King is just crap. I can never eat Burger King.
Burger King is horrible because of their fries. Their fries are disgusting.
Are gross, and like you always get gobs of mayo on whatever you like. Say you get a Whopper, so much mayo, and there's mayo oozing out like that. I just lose my appetite. But like I don't like it when like the lettuce is hot and the tomato is hot. You know what I mean? I want my burger to be hot, the cheese to be melted, and the tomato and the lettuce has to be
all the toppings to be crisp and cold. I get that.
They don't call it iceberg for nothing. You know what I mean?
I can't tell you the last time I've had a McDonald's. I don't eat. I try not to eat fast food, especially like McDonald's and Burger King. If I had to, I'm in your camp. I would definitely. I'll eat Five Guys every once in a while because I consider that to be, even though it's fast food, I consider that to be a real burger. Even though they're more chained out now, I still kind of see it more attuned to like Shake Shack or something like that.
Do they cook it on like a flat grill or do they cook it on like a?
No, I think they cook it on a flat grill.
Do
yeah,
they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's definitely the best burger, but
and they just fill that sack up with fries. That's awesome.
Yeah, the fries are banging. But if I had to eat McDonald's, the only thing I would eat would be their fries because their fries are still after all these years, their fries are fucking good as hell. But I will, if somebody out of the three, if someone said go get a burger, I would definitely get a burger from Wendy's.
Hell yeah,
they're the best. Like the Baconator.
And they have the best bacon too, and they actually melt their cheese, which is a rare thing these days.
And they have good ranch dressing. I don't know if you use that or not.
I'm not a ranch.
Normally, my Wendy's ordeal, and again, I haven't done this in forever, but I would get a burger, and then I get a side of chicken nuggets.
They got the best nuggets.
Chicken nuggets with ranch. But the chicken nuggets, although I enjoyed them, are really more of a vehicle just to get the ranch, and then I put the ranch on top of the burger.
Now you're starting to sound like me.
It's banging.
Yeah. Now you know where I come from. But the nugs, I always go honey mustard. Sometimes I'll do barbecue, but I'm honey mustard all the way when it comes to nugs.
I haven't had a good honey mustard in a long time.
They make a good honey mustard at Wendy's.
Yeah, so the Halloween party was good.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was fun.
Good eats.
I think the World Series kind of put a damper on it a little bit because the person who threw the party, our friend Tom, is a big Mets fan also.
Yeah.
And he kind of usurped the party by having it on the big screen all night. You know, I was even feeling a little guilty towards the end, especially once it kind of looked like the Mets weren't gonna win it. You know, I was kind of like I felt bad. Like I knew his wife didn't want it on, and it was kind of killing like the party vibe. You know what I mean? And I was like, maybe we should just shut this off.
I was trying to stay away from the TV as much as possible.
But you can't. I mean, when you have something that big, and it wasn't just me and Tom who were the Mets fans there. You know, a couple of the girls there, or I don't know if they're Mets fans or not, but they were they're really into it, and you know, a couple of the other guys, like people were going to be sitting there watching that no matter what. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, our friend Kevin Bulmer definitely did not disappoint.
Oh, right.
Very happy with his costume.
We talked about him in a previous podcast.
Yeah,
right?
and we talked about how he loves the wrestlers.
And how he loves to wear tights.
Yes.
And he was a wrestler with tights.
Was he wearing tights?
He was wearing tights.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Because that was the first thing I said to him. I was like, "Oh man, no tights." And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" And then he brushed back the duster, and there were the tights.
Were they on? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say him and his girlfriend, and he got his girlfriend to wear the costume, which is awesome.
She looked better than he did.
Yeah, she was Jerry Saggs, and he was Brian Knobs of the Nasty Boys.
Yeah, they were pretty serious looking. Definitely the best costume of the night.
Yeah.
Or our friend Megan, though, she dressed up like David Bowie from Labyrinth.
Oh, that's right.
And although Kevin Jess's costume as the Nasty Boys was funnier, hers was like dead on. Like she looked Megan's an attractive girl to begin with, but I was like kind of looking at her like, man, David Bowie is hot. Like, am I in love with David Bowie now?
See, I think Mayo looks like David Bowie, like in real life, like old Bowie, like Bowie of today. You know what I mean? He really does.
Okay, Mayo's our buddy who, I don't know, I can't even explain that.
That's his alter ego.
I don't think he looks anything like David Bowie, but...
I think he does.
Okay.
What was it? Oh, yeah, at the party, me and Kevin, because he is always wrestlers every year, we were, you know, I said, what do you go to, is there a store of all the, you know, the attire that the 80s wrestlers wear that you go to a store and get it because he's always spot on with these costumes.
Right.
So, you know, we were just laughing because, you know, we were saying how he goes to reach for an evening glove and he gets swatted by Brutus Beefcake who's going for his lingerie because they're going for the same item on the shelf. And we were just dying laughing over
his
it.
shears?
Yeah, his sheer pants and his evening gloves.
No, he fucking straight up makes that
shit, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, like they were for anybody at home who knows what the Nasty Boys look like. They were wearing like the black shirts that said the Nasty Boys in white, and then it has like the fluorescent 80s like splatter paint all over it.
Perfect.
And it really did, like, it didn't look like something somebody made at home. It looked like a straight up
to
like
the wrestler store.
Yeah, like he emailed them and they sent them an old costume, you know.
And they had the wigs on of the mullets with the spiked hair on top. It was perfect.
Looking good.
It was perfect.
I told them both that they should move down to Florida, grow mullets, and fucking and rock it out that way because they definitely look like they'd be comfortable down there. I don't know.
Yeah, but those costumes definitely were a smash.
It's fun time Halloween. I can't believe it is November already. I cannot fucking believe it.
I get so depressed in the winter, you know.
Well, when it starts getting, I go for bike rides all the time. You know, like I try to do like 20-mile bike rides. And I did one today, but I realized that I had to leave at like 3:30 because it was going to be dark by 5 fucking 30. It's fucking ugh.
Yeah, and then as soon as December hits, it's dark by like 4:30.
Yeah, how do you live like that? How do we live like this? The East Coast is weird because you like when it's summer and spring and even like the beginning of fall, you're like, this is the best place on the planet. And then as soon as winter hits, you're like, why do I fucking live here?
Every year, I think.
Why do I live here? It was even in the city was the worst, man. Working in the city during the winter,
you can't get anywhere.
Yeah, and when it snowed, everything was just like slosh and fucking dirt and like shit everywhere, and I was just like
black snow.
There's nothing more beautiful than Manhattan, like on a certain day, you know, like there's been times where I've been walking down the street in Manhattan, and I've been like, this is just the greatest fucking place on the face of the earth, you know, and then the snow comes, or like even on like a really rainy day or something like that, and you're just like, man, this is the worst, horrible, fucking soul-sucking pit of hell ever.
Yeah, I love like the deep spring. Like I love like May. You know what I mean? Like I just love the spring. I love when like you smell the nice weather coming like through your window and you just know it's happening.
Yeah, because you're finally out of the woods.
Yeah.
No,
I like
know
that. I like that a lot.
Because you think, or at least I think that winter, like as soon, like right now, it's like November 4th or 5th or something like that. And so right now, I'm already thinking that it's winter.
Today was like 78.
No, I know. But as soon as you hear November, you just shoot ahead to Christmas. You just think winter, Thanksgiving, blah, blah, all that stuff. So you think like November, December, January, like maybe January is the worst of winter, but it's fucking not. February is the worst month. You think like in your head that maybe February is like you're coming up on March and like things are going to start getting better, but it's not true. Like it doesn't start getting better almost until the end of March now,
Yeah.
And February, my birthday is in February. And
there's gotta always be snow on the ground for your birthday.
Always.
There's
I don't
always
think...
like a blizzard on Valentine's Day every year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's always it's always around the week of my birthday. My birthday's on the 17th, and I can't tell you how many years as a child when I lived with my parents and there was a driveway, I spent my birthday shoveling snow out of a fucking driveway. It's the worst. Winter birthdays are the worst. I don't know.
Yeah, but the party was awesome. I definitely had a great time. I feel like I left early. That's one
a lot of
shitty thing about getting old.
A lot of people left early, and and I think that's the thing. Now, okay, so there was some people there with children, but most of the people there were, whether they were coupled up or not, were still people without children. And it seemed like once the game ended, and then maybe like around 11 or something, like people started like dispersing.
Yeah.
And I even remember saying to people, like, why is everybody leaving? Like I thought the party. My whole thing in my head was, okay, the game's over. Now pump up the fucking music and let's blast it out. But a lot of people ended up leaving, and I remember at one point. I looked over at the Nasty Boys, and it was like literally like it was just me and the Nasty Boys, and I was like, "Where'd everybody go?" And they're like, "I don't know."
I don't think there was anyone there with children.
Nobody brought their children there.
But who had children? I can't think of anyone who did.
Yeah, there's a couple people. I don't want to start screaming people's names out, but yeah, our friend Tara and her husband was there. They have a little child. There was a couple people there before that
people were leaving when I walked in.
Yeah, I know.
At like 9 o'clock or 8:30 or something.
I know.
I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's. I mean, we're in our mid 30s.
I know.
You know what I mean? So like, we still party like that's not what we are. But I know for a fact that we're in the wrong. Like we're not. We can't be sitting here saying like these people leaving this party early were like party poopers. They're just being responsible human beings who probably had to wake up and do yard work the next day in their homes that they work jobs and buy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They want to be safe driving home.
Right.
Oh my
Whereas us, we don't have anything to live for except doing this podcast, which we weren't going to do for another 3 days. So we technically could have just partied for 3 more days, and it wouldn't have been a big fucking deal.
And plus, I was drinking hard alcohol, so like.
Were you? What were you drinking?
Yeah, I was drinking vodka.
Were you?
Straight. Yeah. Well, it was flavored, so you don't have to add anything. You know what I mean? But it was still straight vodka.
Right, I get that.
And plus, I ate so much of that chili and that pumpkin mush that,
you
kept me at an even.
You love the pumpkin mush.
I don't know what was combined with it. She told me how she made it. I really wish I remembered because I would make it every day. Because I started off with the graham cracker graham cracker cookies.
No, they were ginger snaps.
Oh, ginger snaps.
Which are fucking unbelievable.
God.
That's the first thing I said when I ate these ginger snaps. I can't believe we're talking about ginger snaps in our podcast. I don't think this is interesting. But real quick, I was eating it, and the hostess of the party, Tom's lovely wife, I was housing these ginger snaps, and I was like, did you get these from the black and orange box? Do you remember the black and orange ginger snap box from when we were kids?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they still make those or not, but now I'm
on...
like
a cat on it or something?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I am on a mission to find the black and orange ginger snaps box.
Were we talking about this at the party? Because I remember talking about this with somebody because there was the ginger snaps, and then there was like a vanilla cookie by the same company. And it had a similar type box, and nobody knew what I was talking about.
I don't. Well, I put me down as the people don't know what you're talking about.
Or maybe it was chocolate, a chocolate cookie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just very fond of the ginger snaps.
Yeah.
And I think they're people think of those as like an old lady cookie, but those shits are fucking delicious, especially the ones in the orange and black box. I don't know the name of them, and I don't even know if they make them anymore, but I need to find them.
I call no cookie an old lady cookie except Fig Newtons. Because I'll eat any cookie.
But is Fig Newton a cookie?
I don't even know. I think that was the whole commercial bit.
Yeah, it's just some
cookie.
It's like some shitty dough with some gook on the inside.
Yeah, even
of
that
it.
dough is gross.
Yeah.
Oh man, that whole Fig Newton idea is just disgusting.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a big Newton fan.
Nah, I don't know anyone that is. But
What about what about Vienna fingers? You think?
love them.
Really?
Yeah,
Not a big fan.
love them. I mean, that wouldn't be my first choice of cookie. You know what I mean? My first choice of cookie would definitely be Milano's double chocolate.
Well, that's the Italiano. And
I guess so. Well, if we're gonna go Italian, I'm gonna go pastry all the way, baby.
Well, no, we can't. We're talking cookies.
Yeah,
now
I know.
you're breaking the rules, just like the dirty Italians always do. Break the rules. If I was to choose a cookie, I don't think there's anything better in this world than a homemade oatmeal raisin cookie.
I do like oatmeal raisin,
But
again,
they
no.
can't be stiff and like crunchy. They have to be warm and mushy.
Oh yeah. That's good. Oh man, you know what I used to do? I used to take whatever was left of the milk that I was dunking in, and it was never a lot, but I would just take a lot of Chips Ahoy cookies, and I would crush them up in whatever was left of the milk, and I would make a Chips Ahoy paste. Because it wasn't like, cookie bits swimming in milk.
I know what you're
was like-
talking about.
It was like a paste that you could like put on things or dip into the paste, but I would just eat it with a spoon.
You could spread onto other
You could,
other
yeah.
delicacies.
And the chocolate chips were still in place, but I would just eat the gook, and it was delicious.
Oh well, I'm not a big fucking milk fan, but there is something to be said for the bottom of milk, like say at the end of a bowl of cereal. You know what I mean? That milk with like just the cereal bits and taste at the end of it. Yeah, you might have something going there.
Yeah, love it. But of course, I'll eat anything. I don't discriminate. I think Fig Newton is probably the only thing that I won't eat in this world.
I think. Well, if there was a pile of Fig Newtons at that party the other night, you would have been shoving Fig Newtons in your face. Like at one point, we were all just sitting around looking at you, like we were in like a semicircle, and you were just in the middle, like hunched over, shoving food in your face, and we were all just sitting there, like sipping our drinks, like looking at each other, like, well, I guess this is the entertainment now. Just watching Richie house shit on the floor, and then at one point, you housed a whole bunch of that pumpkin dip, and it dropped on the floor, like a whole dollop of it dropped on the floor, and I seriously was thinking, like, okay, is he going for I thought you were leaning down and getting this off the floor, but you didn't.
I didn't?
You cleaned it up like a gentleman, so I was surprised. Your savagery ended there.
So was I more of a savage then, or was the potato salad burgers? I think the potato salad.
The potato salad burgers was a more astounding feat. You know what I mean? Like that was something akin to like a food eating contest, like a Coney Island High hot dog
Like
contest
I was
or something
wiggling
like
them
that.
down like that.
Where I was
Asian?
like, oh my god, how's that even possible? He's eating his weight in hamburgers with potato salad on top of it.
I'm getting hungry. I got some lasagna waiting for me in the fridge.
Oh man, that sounds good. I have nothing. I'm gonna go to the store and buy a jar of natural peanut butter. That's gonna be my thing.
I got some peanut butter.
I was talking about this. Oh, so anyway, at this Halloween party, since everything was a little bit smaller in nature, there was no red meat involved. Like it seemed
Even the chili was turkey.
It seemed a little bit less your housing stuff. I know this is a cliche question, but since I said peanut butter and it made me think of it. What is your one food that if you were stuck on a deserted island that you could only eat one food for the rest of your life? What would it be? Mine is obviously peanut butter. That's what made me think of it. But
just peanut butter by itself, not peanut butter and jelly, just like peanut butter straight up.
Yeah, just peanut butter straight up.
All right.
If you strip it down that far. I mean, I guess you could strip it down to peanuts after that, but I mean, like if you strip it down that far that there's one item that you can only eat for the rest of your life, or not be able to live with, which is really what it comes down to for me. I just think that's the one thing that I could absolutely not take out of my repertoire is peanut butter. I need that in my life.
So if I was only allowed to pick one thing, which is really hard because I eat everything, I'm gonna have to say barbecued spare ribs.
Holy shit! And the way you looked at me when you said that, it was like so convincing that I, for a second,
You
thought
wanted
maybe
ribs?
I fucking can't live without barbecue spare ribs.
Oh, they're so good.
I did not see that coming from you, being such an Italian and fond of such like Italian food.
Yeah, well, you know what? I love Italian food, but sometimes I just don't want sauce. You know what I mean?
Okay, no, I get that.
Or well, you fake Italians say gravy. Gravy's brown, just so you know. You're not.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of Italians out there that would argue that fake Italians say sauce and real Italians say gravy.
So false. So false. Fake Italians say gravy.
And then and the fake Italians or is it the fake Italians that add a bunch of vowels at the end that you don't need, or is it real Italians that add a bunch of vowels at the end that don't?
I mean,
you
the
don't need?
words, all of them pretty much end in vowels. But I mean,
Okay, so like manigat, right? So people say manigat or they say manigata.
Monogot.
Manigat. That's So the people who add but there's an A at the end of that.
There's an I. It's manicotti.
Oh, manicotti. That's
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah.
right? I don't know. I don't get it.
But like, it's really like Italians from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? That makes it a totally different, which is where most of Italians are from. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that brings it to a totally different level. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
they're taking letters off left and right. Like, they'll take half the word off at the end. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, if I think of some of the words my grandparents used to say, it's, half the, oh my gosh, my grandma used to call Big Z. She'd be like, you want some Big Z? It was just a Z. And I'd be like, all right, I'll eat it.
Did she do the hand thing?
Nah, she wouldn't do the hand thing.
Like I don't know how to describe that hand thing, but the thing that Italian people do, where
Yeah.
it kind of looks like you're like holding like a fake piece of loose leaf paper and waving it in the air. Like,
Yeah.
up on. Hey, have some.
Nah, she wouldn't do that. Nah.
Richie, you're too skinny. Have some.
Oh, she loved feeding me, man. I miss that shit.
It's nice to have a home cooked meal.
But yeah, like sometimes I'll be like, I just don't want any tomato sauce or whatever.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the one food that you're
barbecue
going to
spare
eat
ribs.
every day of your life as long as you live on a deserted island by yourself, nothing else.
Ribs.
You're not going to get sick. So what you're saying right now is that barbecue spare ribs are the one food that you won't get sick of.
Yeah.
You know that you'll be able to eat for
as
the rest
long
of
as
your
they're like, there's some meat on that bone. You know what I mean? If it's a weak rib,
life. Well, I mean, the ribs might vary, but I don't know. You know, some days you might get good ribs, some days you might get bad ribs.
like I like, the beef ribs. I don't want no pork.
That's an
don't want
odd
no scrubs.
choice. I recognize the peanut butter is an odd choice. You would think people, you would think that people would just go with like pizza. You know what I mean? Or
Love my pizza.
yeah, pizza's hard to give up. Yeah.
I'm so addicted to that big boy slice. They have so many crazy slices. Like when all those specialty slices started coming out, I'm like, man, that's not pizza. That's just a bunch of crap put on, dough or whatever. But I'm so into the specialty slice now.
Oh, the one that we
big
discussed
boy.
privately.
Yeah.
I said privately, but it wasn't privately. It was on this podcast.
Yeah. So, and I got something wrong. I said there was like chopped up mott sticks on it. There isn't.
Oh, that was the selling point for me. I actually have thought about that since then. Where I'm like, I need to go get
I
that
know.
mud stick.
And then the time that I got it after that, and there wasn't any mott sticks on it, I was gonna be like, "Excuse me, can you put some mott sticks on it?" But
What is it? You flip over the table. There's no mud sticks.
what it is the fried chicken, bacon, which is what I failed to tell you.
Huge.
It was bacon, fried chicken, French fries, and a secret sauce, which I guess would be closer to like Big Mac sauce, but like
Yeah.
it's not like as Big Mac-y, but it's amazing.
Right.
And I have to call in like ahead, and they're like, "Oh, it's you," and I'm like, "Yeah, get them ready, baby."
I'm coming for it. I'm coming for the big boy.
And I got a new scheme going since I'm such a valued customer on the delivery tip over at Pasquale's. They're right next to Quick Check, so I'll be like, "Hey, can you?" I put on the girlfriend voice. And I'm like, "Can you go over to Quick Check and pick me up a pack of Newports?" And they do it for me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow. That's some service with a smile
Right.
right there.
I got clout in the pizza world.
My pizza topping go-to, I actually ordered this the other night on Sunday, which is my cheat day. I allow myself to cheat off my diet on Sundays. Is some people don't like this, or I shouldn't say they don't like it, but when I'm with people and I recommend this as the topping combination, they're just like, they don't get it. And I guess I understand because they're both like salty, greasy meats. But I always get pepperoni and bacon.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how many people I've been with, like at a party or they've been over my apartment or something like that, Or even like my ex-girlfriend was the same way, where I'm like, get pepperoni and bacon. They're like, yo, really? Those
so
two together?
hungry.
And then they eat it once and they're like, this is the shit.
Oh my god, it's amazing. If I get pepperoni, I usually get a pepperoni and mushroom. I like that combo.
I think pepperoni has to be on a pizza. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I could eat pizza without pepperoni, but I kind of see pepperoni as like a default on pizza. Like, let's have the bread and the cheese and the pepperoni, and then build upon that whatever you would like. You know?
It was always like, when toppings were first invented, I think it was just pepperoni, right? And then from there, they were like, maybe we can do other things.
I guess, because has pepperoni ever been used for anything else besides pizza? Like, you don't order an Italian sub and have pepperoni on it.
Right, now there isn't any pepperoni.
I mean, there's variations. The salami and pepperoni are very close together and stuff like that. But I think pepperoni really only come. Although I love pepperoni so much that I'll just fucking eat that shit.
Yeah.
Well, you do the pepperoni with cheese and crackers sometimes. So.
Yeah, you could do that. But like, as far as when I was a kid, I didn't think there was any other toppings except pepperoni. I thought it was you get plain pizza, you get pepperoni.
Right.
And then once I found out there was other things. It's opened up a whole new world.
I actually late in life, I didn't know that we're going to be talking about pizza so much now.
So hungry.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry too. I didn't know until late in life the joy that is a plain slice of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was, I don't know why.
Lakeside, right?
Well, no, because Lakeside, which was, by the way, is where we worked in college. That wasn't the greatest pizza in the world.
No. But cold, it was good.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, when I was younger, if you handed me a slice of plain pizza, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Go put some fucking pepperoni on it and bring it back and let's talk. You know what I mean? But later on in life, I whether it was, I don't even know where it possibly could have been. It could have been north, it could have been in the city or Jersey City or something like that. But like at a really good pizza place, and somebody said like, no, you need to get their plain slice. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense, because why would I not get the pepperoni slice? And they're like, no, it's so good that you don't want any of that meat on it. You just want to eat the sauce is so good and the cheese is so good and the bread is so good. And then I had it and I was like, holy shit, like they're right. It's like almost at that point like putting A1 sauce on a steak or something, just like totally ruining it, like that kind of thing. Yeah, so if you get really good pizza, it's like ice cream. Like they say, if you want to tell how good an ice cream place is, go in and try their vanilla ice cream. Yeah. Right? Because all ice cream is made from vanilla ice cream.
Right.
So if you try their vanilla and it's fucking banging, then you know that's like a good ass place.
Yeah. And whenever I get like specialty pizza, I always wash it down with a plain slice, because I feel like I can't
That's like the palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I'll do that sometimes, but normally the plain slice will be a Sicilian. So what I'll do is I'll get like a slice with a bunch of toppings, or like a specialty slice or something like that, and then I'll get the Sicilian as the second slice and eat that afterwards.
Sounds so
or
good.
as some people say, square pies.
Yeah, let me get a slice of the square.
How do you feel? And then we're going to end this riveting pizza talk right after this. But how do you feel about a grandma slice?
No, I love a grandma slice.
I almost feel like grandma slices, though, although delicious, unbelievable, great. I don't know if they're pizza. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
Because it's the fresh mutts that throws you off.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a different kind of... It's the mozzarella, but it's a different kind of cheese, and it's real light on the sauce. And a lot of times, if you get a good one, it's on like a real thin, almost cracker crust.
And they throw that basil on.
Yeah, right.
It's weird.
It's almost like I don't know if I'd... It's like Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff. That thing that they make with the bread and the cheese and the sauce, I dig it. But I don't think you could call it pizza. Because
isn't it always deep dish?
Well, yeah, that's the Chicago pizza.
Yeah,
it's like that. It's like a fucking cake.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they should call it
cake.
Italian cake or something like that. But I don't know if they should call it pizza. And when I say that sometimes, and people get mad. Well, I don't. It's not like I'm sitting here talking to people from Chicago all the time. But I've been in this conversation before, and people from Chicago have said to me, well, it's better than New York pizza, and I'm not. I don't think that there are two things that you could even compare. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't think that Chicago pizza is better than New York, or New York is better than Chicago. I think they're two completely different foods that need to be named completely different things,
Yeah, yeah.
And Chicago, I'm using the air quotes, pizza is fucking unbelievably delicious.
Is it? I've never been.
You've never been to Chicago?
No.
Yeah, it's really good.
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, I had a layover in Chicago over the last holidays. I was going to see my brother and my niece, and and I had a layover in Chicago for a few hours, but it wasn't long enough that I could leave the airport. And so I gambled at the airport and got pizza because I was like, this is the only thing that it would be like being in Philly and not getting a cheesesteak, you know? And I got it, and even the airport pizza, air quotes, Chicago pizza, was fucking unbelievably good. It's really, really good.
Sounds good.
One time we took a road trip to Chicago, and we got so much fucking pizza that we had some left over, so we like threw it in the trunk thinking that we were gonna eat it on the way home, and 10 hours later we're still driving home and we're like, what the fuck is that smell? And we realized that it was just this like rotting pizza in the
I would have ate the shit out of it. You know what? I want to change my ribs.
Oh shit.
Because I forgot about how much I love rainbow cookies.
So you're gonna go with a dessert?
Yeah, rainbow cookies.
Not anything of substance. Like at least peanut butter has some protein in it. Rainbow cookies is all flour and sugar.
No, rainbow cookies. It took me years to figure this out, but has an apricot spread in the middle. You ever get that jelly?
When you say a rainbow cookie, you mean the ones that they'll come in the cookie assortment packs that they're actually different color, like it almost looks like Neapolitan ice cream in a cookie?
Yes.
Okay. You're not talking about the one that has like the chocolate and the sprinkles on it, the rainbow sprinkles on it.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about it's also called a 7-layer cookie. Some people call it that. I just call it a rainbow cookie because it's green, pink, and yellow with the apricot in the middle, chocolate on top.
I'm going to say something right here to you and to the listening public is I don't think I've ever had a rainbow cookie.
Whoa.
Don't think I've ever had.
So
I'd have to see one.
I love a rainbow cookie so much that I was, ending it with a woman, and it was around the holidays, and she dropped off a box of rainbow cookies on my doorstep with a little note, and I took her back for the holidays. Because that's how much I love the I'm like, if she's going to remember, like, not only did she go out of her way to go to, like, this was a pastry in a box. This wasn't Pathmark's rainbow cookie.
Oh, so it was like in the white box with the rope tied around it. If you see that rope tied, you know you're in for some good
commitment.
Shit. Yeah.
So she went. Not only did she go out and buy that, but she remembered. It wasn't something that I talked about every day. She remembered how much I love these rainbow cookies and just surprised it. You know, like it was nice to know you have some rainbow cookies, and I was like, damn.
Oh man, I'm jealous of your parting gift there.
Oh my god, and she, beautiful girl, zero personality, like probably a -10 in the personality department, but she was gorgeous, and the fact that she remembered my fondness for rainbow cookies, bumps her up a little bit. But
so you took her back for the holidays and then had to buy her Christmas presents?
Yeah, I bought her a Christmas present. It wasn't anything expensive.
You could have just taken that money that you spent on her Christmas present
and
went and bought your own rainbow cookies.
But I don't think I had a license on it. Couldn't get to the
chances
bakery.
are you did it. There's slim pockets of your life where you actually had licenses.
You actually took me to buy her a Christmas present.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about or when this was or whatever. So it doesn't matter. You can tell me later. I don't.
Yeah.
Already, if this girl is listening, she knows she's the one that bought you the rainbow cookies.
Yeah,
and that you think she has no personality. So let's just leave it.
She
there.
knows she has no personality.
I've never got a parting gift from a girl that I was separating with.
She was just such a sweetheart.
That's a really nice thing. Most of the time when I break up with a girl, I just get shit thrown at me, or like my car fucking tires slashed, or even worse, or other things slashed. So if any of my future ex-girlfriends are out there listening to this, just remember when we break up, I require a box of rainbow cookies.
I was gonna say you want some peanut butter cookies
with the rope tied around it. Well, no, now I want a rainbow cookie.
They're so good, man. I can't believe you can't just go get the box from Pathmark or whatever. You got to get the real deal from the.
Well, yeah, no, you can't get shit. You can't get shit from fucking
bakery. Pastry shop.
Pastry shop.
Shoppy.
What was I gonna say? You can't buy shit from the supermarket. There's nothing of value from the supermarket.
Nah.
Unfortunately. I'm sorry if anybody out there works at or owns a supermarket and I'm busting on it, but you can't it'll pass. But I mean, if you want a good steak or you want a good real good baked goods or an actual cake or something,
Dearborn.
You just have to go to a real place.
Yeah.
Supermarkets are I don't know, they're bad.
Yeah.
So this podcast was supposed to be about us talking about our problems and the things we're struggling with, and then we just did 20 minutes on rainbow cookies.
Yeah, well, that is a problem. I could get diabetes, then it becomes an issue.
You can. You lose some fucking. And the way that you housed all of that pumpkin spread the other night, you might actually have diabetes.
No, I always think when is the day gonna come when my diabetes kicks in? And I used to think that there was telltale signs of it because when we were heavy beer drinkers, I heard that's one thing that could kick your diabetes into kickstart. I'd wake up sweating, you know what I mean? Because of course I would drink a lot of beer, then I would eat a lot of food, and then I would eat a lot of cookies, you know what I mean? So
right.
It's all diabetes stuff. And I used to sweat a lot and feel like I was getting the beatus. But maybe I have it. I don't know.
The thing that's making me laugh, I'm sorry, I'm just going to pull down this fourth wall, is the thing that's making me laugh so hard is not so much that what you're saying is funny, which it is, but every time you hit what you consider to be a punchline or the end of your sentence, you give me this giant wide-eyed look here it comes. Here's what I'm saying now. And diabetes. You're leaning in for the joke. It's killing me.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. It's. I just wish that anybody listening to this could. So can I bring up one serious thing?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to ambush you with this, but I just thought about it.
Ambushy.
No. But you said it's about the last episode. Do you remember what you said about the last episode?
What I said about
yeah, when you text me,
yeah,
and I wanted I don't know, I just feel like maybe we could talk about that for a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think I was going to say something about
Okay,
it.
so go ahead, say something now.
Say what I said to you.
Yeah, say what you said to me.
What I said was, man, I was so fucking high in that last podcast that I don't ever want to be high again. You know what I mean?
Right. You said you texted me and you said that. I guess you started now that these podcasts are up and available. You started listening to them, and you said, "Wow, we're doing a really good job." Blah blah blah, all this stuff, and you're like, "Except that last one." You're like, I'm paraphrasing, but you said basically "Oh, I was so disgusted at myself. I want to get clean immediately."
Yeah, I hated my voice. I was like, I mean, that's my voice anyway.
Right.
But when I'm fucked up, it's it's totally exaggerated.
Yeah. And I guess I could again knock down the fourth wall on this one. Was that last podcast you showed up and you were fucked up. Your eyes were slammed shut. And I was trying to make it work, and I think it did work. I went back and listened to it. I was thinking about scrapping that whole episode because while we were doing it, I was just like, "Oh man, is anything even coming off?" But then I went back and listened to it, and you were holding your own. And if somebody who knows you listened to it, they could hear in your voice how. But I mean, you were fucked up. Your eyes were slant. I was looking at your eyelids the whole time. You were kind of and I was afraid.
I mean, I knew I was at the moment, but then when I heard the episode, I was like, God damn, that's disgusting.
And I got to say, today I came here not knowing what to expect, and you seem like you're pretty bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah, no, I took that seriously. You know what I mean? I love doing this, and I want to. You know what I mean? If the whole.
Oh, by the way, real quick, our friend Mike commented, and he said that the name of the show should be "You Know What I Mean" because we say it so fucking much, and he is correct. Dude.
Really?
We both. I guess this is a verbal crutch that both of me and you have had our whole life, and that I had never realized until I listened to this.
I never
but
realized
if people listen to us, and I know that we're trying to dictate more on this. At least I am trying to talk a little bit more slower than I normally do. And you'll even hear me sometimes speed up and really get into that New Jersey thing. I'll do that sometimes on here, and I'm trying not to. And I'm trying not to use verbal crutches, literally, and you know what I mean. But I now realize the times on this podcast that me and you have really just started talking to each other and kind of ignored the fact that we were doing a podcast. And at home, it's hard for you to discern between those two things because you don't fucking know us and whatever. But I know us, and I listen back on these things, and the times that me and you are actually just talking to each other like we would off mic, it is a you know what I mean fucking fest.
Really?
To the point where if anybody who has hung out with us our whole life, I apologize because they probably listened to us talk and all they heard was you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
So is that how it is? It's you know what I mean, or is it nah mean?
It's you know what I mean.
It's you know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
Know what I
you know what I mean. Yeah, you'll
an Ernest P. Worrell. You know. What I mean?
Yeah. Basically.
Damn.
Yeah. Except I'm Ernest and you're Vern. But yeah. So now that you know that,
Yeah.
Number one, when you listen back on these episodes, you're going to hear it and cringe. And then number two, now try to cut it out a little bit because it is. All right. So anyway, go ahead.
I don't even know that I'm saying it.
Yeah, me either.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's definitely something that both of us picked up at an early age and just ran with. So say what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm taking it seriously, and I don't like the way I sound when
you're fucked up.
Well, in general, ever since my face surgery, I don't like my voice. But man.
Face surgery? Oh, you mean your tonsils?
My tonsils.
Oh,
but then they cut out all those things in my face.
Right.
All my sinuses and adenoids and all that stuff,
Got it.
And the doctor said I'd have my voice back in 4 years, and it's been almost 20, and I still don't have it back. So, thanks a lot, Doc.
Well, we're both nasally fucking. You're more nasally, in like grinding, and then I'm more nasally and like lispy. Like I'll get like
lispy.
Yeah, I think I have a little bit of a lisp.
I never heard that.
Yeah, it's not like a bad lisp, but you could hear it. We shouldn't be pointing this out because now everybody listening to this is going to be like, all right, you know what I mean? Lisp, literally, fucking a sick
right.
Kermit the Frog.
They're probably doing it all right. Anyway.
You do get a Kermit the Frog thing going every once in a while.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what I'm super...
Well, that's good. That's why I wanted to bring that up. Also because I wanted to divert from the Rainbow Cookie talk into something a little bit more serious. Because our description now, our description of this is what we wanted to do, which is, I'm ad-libbing. I forget what I wrote, but it's basically two guys with a bunch of problems talk about addiction and relationships and all that stuff while trying to revive a friendship, so that we loosely have to direct around that. But I found that text that you sent me about that as like kind of a positive sign, the fact that you listened to yourself when you were fucked up on the podcast and thought to yourself like, man, this, I don't want to be like that. You know?
And you know what? People have at times when I was like really fucked up, have taken videos of me and showed me videos, and it did not have as big an effect on me as
Hearing
the
it?
voice did. Yeah.
I saw videos of you when you were fucked up.
Yeah. And
Your old roommate sent me one at one point when you were really bad, and me and him were talking back and forth for a while, like because we were both like at our like wits end. We're like, what are we gonna do, And I guess I being not, I was removed from the situation. I didn't live near you guys. And I didn't see that often, and I'm also don't do those drugs, so and have limited interactions with people that do those drugs, so or just maybe out of like hope in my heart that I didn't think it was like as bad as it was, so he one day recorded you when you were like in a knot or something like that and like sent me the recording of it, and I gotta tell you, man, it was fucking hard to watch. Like I was like, oh my god, are you serious? It was like something you would see on like Vice or something like that, you know what I mean?
I think I know the video you're talking about.
Yeah.
But again, I saw that video and it's terrible, but and I've seen others, and the recording of my voice had more of an effect on me and made me say, man, I don't want to be that person, it's terrible.
Well, that's good. And I don't think things wrap up as tidily as that, but that's a step in the right direction,
Yeah.
And honestly, your level of fucked upness, if I'm going to make up a word, since we started doing this podcast, this is now the 12th podcast that we've done, and it's varied. It's been up and down. Like it's sometimes I don't know when I come in, I don't know what Ritchie I'm going to get, and that is something that I'm prepared for, and I wanted to make a part of this podcast. Like I even said to you when I was pitching you this idea before we started recording these, is I said that we need to be as open and honest about ourselves as possible.
Yep.
As transparent as possible, and that whatever happens, there's no judgment on either way. So basically my stance to you was going to be that I'm not going to get on your ass about being high. I'm also not going to condone it. I'm just going to be a neutral fucking Switzerland the whole time, and then kind of try to like position things in which way it is, but also I also expected it to be much worse. You know what I mean? Like I expected now the last episode was the closest to that, but I expected there being days where like you just weren't talking and like falling off the fucking chair and shit, and then I was gonna have to like start like telling people what's going on, and stuff like that.
Right. Now I don't think I'll ever take to that level. I mean, hey, if it's gonna get more listeners, I'll do it.
No, it's not. I don't think
I'm
people want to hear somebody fall apart.
I'm kidding.
And it might.
I'm sure people do.
Yeah,
Sure
maybe
people do.
And it might not be that recognizable at home. I don't know, like, as a matter of fact, if you're listening to this and you want to let us know, email us at awkward-hi5podcast@gmail.com. I think I'm going to give up on the phone number for now because I don't think anybody's calling it.
Yeah.
But whatever. Oh, well, I guess I'll give the phone number just in case. I mean, you're more than welcome to call and leave a message.
It would be cool if people called. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. And I mean, this is so new. We are. I can honestly say we're doing really good. I've been since we launched this podcast 5 days ago, I believe it was officially. We had given some people like a sneak preview of it before that, but about 5 on Halloween. So yeah, 4 or 5 days ago, we officially launched it. And the feedback and everything has been amazing. And I'm not even just saying that. It really has been. I'm stunned at the amount of people that have listened to this, downloaded it. I'm getting the stats every day, and I'm checking it. And it seems like a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are downloading it. And it's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
And I think that, as we go forward, there hopefully there'll be more interaction with people that listen to it. A lot of people that started listening to it are probably people that kind of just know us anyway. So why the fuck are they going to call us or send us a message? But as more and more people listen to this, people who don't know who we are, I mean, definitely feel free to email us. Or if you do want to call us, it's 607-319-AHI5, which is AHI5. And you could always leave a message. We check them every day before this show. And if it's something worth talking about, we'll definitely talk about it. But what I'm saying is, if you want to email us or call us and I don't know, let us know, because I know you so well that I can hear in your voice. Like, even if I was to call you and you're to pick up the phone, I immediately know if you're fucked up or you're not fucked up. But I don't know if that comes across on here or not. I don't know if anybody listened to the last episode and thought, wow, this guy's fucked up. You know what I mean? Or whatever, I don't know.
I think people have.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because if I notice how bad it was, I didn't just notice it because I'm going by how high I was that day. I'm going by what it sounds like.
Right.
It sounds like terrible.
So what was it that made you get so high that day? It was just was it just you overdid it, or you planned on getting that high, or?
No, maybe I did a little bit more than I usually do, but I didn't plan on getting that high. You know what I mean? I probably had a few drinks.
Right. Slowed things down. So it was a mixture. Yeah. It was a cocktail, if you will, of things that
and that's what usually makes it the worst.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, and I don't know if there is a positive spin on this because I'm not condoning drug use in that way, and I don't want him to make you feel comfortable like you can pull it off, but you do. I mean, I got to give you credit. You sat down in that chair and I was like, oh fuck, here we go. This is gonna be the first show, and you didn't. You fucking you talked and you were making points and you were funny, and as far as from what I could tell, like I said, when we got done with that episode, I didn't know if it was good or not, and I went back and listened to it and was like, that's the luxury of pre-recording these things, is that we could bomb a show and none of you guys listening are ever going to know, because we're just going to act like the next show is fucking the next show, and you know what I mean, and whatever. As a matter of fact, that did happen once.
Yeah, the one you're like, what'd you do today? I was like, I just got off work.
Right. No, that was before we started an episode. But there was one night when we were all excited and we were drinking. It was one of the Friday shows where we were having a couple of cocktails, and we finished the one show, and we thought it was really funny and good, and it was early, and we were like, all right, you know what? Fuck it, let's just do another one. We got time. Remember that? And then we started recording, and like 15 minutes into it, I was like, this is the worst shit ever.
Yeah, there was definitely about 10 seconds of dead air, and we were like just looking at each other.
We were too drunk, just staring at each other.
Definitely wasted.
Yeah. So anyway, like I'm saying, I mean, it worked out, but I figured you since you texted me that, it would be something to talk about. I don't know.
Yeah. But shit, man. When it comes time to get down to business, I think there is a switch. Just the same way there was when I was a drummer. No matter how annihilated I got, aside from if I fell off my drum stool, songs came out not bad. They wouldn't bomb. There would still be a song there.
Yeah, but is that something to aspire towards?
No, absolutely.
We didn't bomb.
Absolutely not. But if it is an issue of mine that is still unresolved, at least I can make the best of it when it comes time to do business.
I guess. Yeah. Well, I can honestly say, and I think I'm speaking for the audience when I say this too, is that the Ritchie that I'm talking to right now, even if you are leaning in on every punchline and freaking me out, is much better than the Ritchie that I had last week, where you were just like fucking, you know, you looked like a fucking jazz guitar player from the fucking 50s. You were just like nodding out, eyes slammed shut.
No junk, no soul.
Oh man. Anything left to say? Got anything else you want to talk about?
Just that I'm looking forward to having my next, ginger snap dunked into pumpkin mush.
I got to go find some rainbow cookies.
You definitely have to find some rainbow cookies.
I don't have to find rainbow cookies. What I have to do is find myself a lady that I could court for a while, and then slowly the whole time like throw in hints of how much I like rainbow cookies, and then break up with her and hope that rainbow cookies show up in my front porch.
As long as she has no personality and she's a really sweet girl, you get the rainbow cookies, and it will come in the pastry box with the string.
I think I could do it. I think I have enough faith in myself that I could find a woman with no personality.
The only thing that
we'll gel really well. We'll just have no personality together.
The only thing that would be better than that is if she left a plate of ribs.
For you, my friend. If that happens, I'll call you over. But for me, I would like a nice natural peanut butter for myself.
See me fighting off cats for the ribs.
I miss your taste and your see-through.
Hey, I really want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening and supporting this podcast so far. Though it's really cool. Like we're doing this podcast for a bunch of reasons, and we're willing to do this podcast whether anybody listens to it or not. We're going to sit here and stare at each other and say what we think is funny into microphones and talk about our problems and all that shit. But the amount of feedback, and like I said before, the amount of feedback and the amount of people that have already downloaded and listened and all that stuff is pretty surprising so far. And keep it up, spread the word. We think we're making a good program, and we'd like people to listen to it. So again, you could. So as of now, we are on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. You could subscribe on either three of those, whichever one you like the best. If you are listening to the show and you like it, you could do us a favor by going to iTunes and leaving like a rating and a review, because that always helps us in the ratings, gets more eyeballs to see. And then awkwardhigh5.com is the website, which is almost ready to be done. I'm almost done with it, so within the next few days that'll be up and running. You can get stuff there too.
This is awesome, man. I'm learning a lot about technology doing this show.
Yeah, you learned what IMDb was. I saw today that you inquired what YouTube was, but I think that got resolved. So, all right, cool. So we will talk to you guys next time.
I'm lost in the trees. My thirst and hunger seem to increase. The music we made is one to be loved. Every time I dream, I end up above. Hey lover, where did you go? We first met.
Thanks for listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. For more episodes, visit awkwardhigh5.com.